The Cougars keep on rolling. Throws it down. Driving lane, Richie Saunders. Khalifa Robinson hammers it home on the alley-oop. Now Johnson will take it down the lane. Good, Spencer Johnson.
Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation. Coming off of a loss at Baylor for the BYU men's basketball team. Jeremy Jordan alongside Dave McCann. To break it down, we've already shared our opinions. Let's get the thoughts of Jonathan Tavernari, one of the BYU legends on BYU Sports Nation. JT, welcome back to the program, man.
Appreciate you guys having me. Dave, great to see you again. JJ, my guy.
Let's go. Vamos la. Okay, BYU at Baylor. We knew this would be one of the tougher games that BYU played. Cougars were up 7 at the break. They get outscored by 15 in the second half, and they end up losing this one. What were some of your top takeaways from BYU's second loss in Big 12 play?
Dad, we are about a couple of decisions away from being able to be, 15-0. I mean, a minimum 14-1. The way we played in the first half was incredible. Have that momentum. And then I think in the second half, things just didn't go our way, right? Water bottles were pushed against the table. Frustrations let us get the best of us. But I think that basketball is a chess game. And the more you get to a place that you are able to understand the mistakes you make and not repeat them, right? Dave Rose used to say, let's not make the same mistake twice. Let's make sure that we have different mistakes done. And I think BYU is learning that, right? Played Travin the way that he should have played. They played Jackson, who played much better. Ali was a factor. But I think that, maybe Foose is not almost there yet. But I was excited. I thought defensively, when you gave up 40 points, the problem is the second half you gave up about 50 points, which is tough. But if you can figure out a way to keep it at under 40 in 35, which is what they did in the first half, I think the problem is towards the end of the game, turnovers came in and kind of haunted them a little bit again, right? And then shots are not falling, and then Baylor is at home. But to be able to get the game away that they were, for the first 30 minutes, I think it was a great thing. And then afterwards, it just kind of got out of hand, right?
I like what golf analyst Ken Venturi said one time. He said, never follow a bad shot with another bad shot, which is advice for all walks of life. And you touched on it a moment ago. I never
took that advice, by the way, Dave, as you know better than I do. So,
well, there's another shot, the third shot, which is Saturday with Central Florida. Does it feel like it's a must-win coming off these last two, or did you see enough good in last night's game to sense that the team is going to get this thing figured out?
It's something that Jerry and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago when I was at the pregame show. Jerry made a prediction at the beginning of the season that I absolutely loved, and I kind of built on that, which is if they were to win 12, 10 or 11 non-conference games, they could give themselves a shot to go to the NCAA tournament. If they won 6 or 7 regular season games on the conference. I think Spencer Linton's prediction is that they're going to go 9-9. Is it far-fetched to say they're going to go 9-9? I feel like against Central Florida is a game that they can steal, that maybe it's a game on the road that you weren't expecting to win, but you're able to do things to win that game, right? Because you look at the way that we lost to Cincinnati and the way we lost to Baylor. Maybe the Baylor game got a little bit away from us, but the Cincinnati game didn't. I mean, I don't feel like Cincinnati won that game. I feel like we lost that game. And I think those are two different things. And so as you go to UCF, it's not supposed to be one of the powerhouses. They're not on the top tier of the Big 12. You go there and you win that game, I think your morale go through the roof. Because I don't think you're far away from making – you say one bad shot, Dave, 2 bad shots, 3 bad shots. I mean, you don't win and lose a game in one single shot at the final shot. You do it throughout the game, right? And so if they can fix maybe just, 5 details, I think they're right there. I think right now Dallin is being asked a little bit too much to handle the ball. And maybe towards the end of the game, he's a little bit worn out. So different things like they did last night with Jackson, kind of handling ball handle duties for a little bit. It was great. I really, really hope we can get Foose back, because the way that him and Atiki can attack internally, right to start the second half, one of the things that came to me was Foose came into the post, Atiki came into, Ali came into the post. They almost went to double him because they are so big and good. And they made 1, 2, 3 extra passes. If you make 2 or 3, quick passes, you get an open shot. And Trevin knocked down a beautiful shot that we could see, by the way, right from the top. I felt like I needed to get binoculars to watch it on my TV, but that's a conversation for another day, right? And so, but I'm super excited for the game against UCF on Saturday. I think that it's a great chance for them to get the monkey off their backs, to just be able to feel good about winning a game that maybe they're, obviously they're 18th in the country, but maybe they're not supposed to win because they're on the road. But that builds on you. Jeremy and Dave, it reminds me a lot of my freshman year when we went to New Mexico. We desperately needed a win in conference. We needed a win, period. And it happened to be my day, and Coach Rose called my number. I had, a career high for my freshman year that day, and I shot the lights out. And so I'm hoping that's the type of game that BYU has on Saturday, because, it would be great to get, this 9-9, win going, because we already have 2 losses, so we can't have too many more of those.
Yeah, you got to start to win. And certainly UCF is, it looks by Ken Palm, the 3rd most winnable road game for BYU. They're the 3rd lowest team in net, but hey, that's 78. What that means is this is not even a quad 1, it's quad 2, which is wild. You need to go and win that game. So it sounds like, and we discussed this, that you're more encouraged than discouraged, given the way BYU played against Baylor versus how they played against Cincinnati.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and again, I had a couple of discussions on Twitter. Jeremy, have you ever seen me have an argument with somebody on Twitter?
Never.
First time, right? One of the things that I would say is I am encouraged. Cincinnati is not the upper tier of the Big 12. I don't care what you say. I don't care metrics. They're not the Kansases, the Texas, and so on. And for you to lose that game at home, you're like, crap. What happened? Like, this is supposed to be our party. Who spoiled the party? Can we press reset? And so, but to lose at Baylor, you understand. But the way we lost at Baylor, right? I understand it. And look, I'm of the firm believer that referees make mistakes, just like players miss shots, and just like coaches, don't necessarily put players back in when they need, right? And so I get it, but referees aren't held, unfortunately, to a standard that they should. Because when you make questionable calls the way you did and the way they do, somebody needs to say something, right? But that's, again, another conversation for another time. But it encouraged me, especially the first half. The way BYU played in the first half against Baylor, I think they would have given Kansas a fit. Jackson was attacking. Richie was running the floor. Dallin was making passes. Ali was swinging around. Trevin was knocking down shots. Foose was active. I mean, my goodness, I just pretty much listed all of the guys that are major rotation players, and they all contributed on a very, really great way to build that 6-point lead. And so to be able to see that, if they can figure out a way, and right, if it was great, we all would quit this media thing and businesses and so on, and we would bottle this and sell it and become gazillionaires. If they could bottle the way that they played in the first half and get as close to it defensively, first of all, but obviously offensively, because that's how you win games. I think that BYU, definitely 7-8 wins are not far-fetched still.
JT, this is an offense that doesn't get to the free throw line very often. They haven't all season. Certainly haven't as much as their opponents in these first 2 Big 12 games. But these guys shooting outside beyond the arc while the other teams are attacking the basket. You attack the basket, you seem to get the foul call. Saw a lot of them last night. Some were good calls, some weren't. But there were so many of them that Cougar Nation kind of got bent out of shape by the disparity. But if BYU wants to get to the free throw line more often, it's got to go through Foose and attacking the basket down low, doesn't it?
I couldn't agree with you more, Dave. I mean, let's also be realistic here. He hasn't played for almost 2 months now, right? I mean, I think it was Thanksgiving in Vegas, and he is slowly coming back. I mean, that's easily a month and a half almost. And so this is where Mark Pope and his staff deserve a ton of credit of this incredibly, overhaul and 180 turn of the way that the team is playing. They designed this so they would play inside and out, inside and outside in. You, me, and Blaine talked about this at the Wise Guys on Monday. They're missing that. And I think when you're missing that and you're missing your main post player, it's no different than how we would play through Trent Placet, through Keenan Young, and how myself, Jackson Emery, even Jimmer before he went bonkers his senior year, how we would benefit because we were all able to play from a player through a post in a way that allows you to give you different possibilities and different looks. And so, yeah, they're not going inside as much because they are doing things without Foose. And proud and happy for Jackson for being able to attack the basket, especially towards the end of the game, and knock down that free throw. Another thing that I'm really excited about, Ali was able to be more aggressive and even look for situations on a post to score. They had to come and double him because he was so close to the basket. And so I think he did amazing things. I'm very, I'm encouraged by what I saw. But Jaron, to your point of earlier, it's time to get that win so, we can build the momentum and say, hey, this is working. Let's keep going on this direction.
Jimmer Fredette had a tremendous Zoom background. I would say your rival's that. It's pretty good. Is that pink shoe from the 2010 Utah game, by the way?
It is from the 2010 game. Like I said, I guess this guy from Glenn's Walls keep taking away my number one spot. But if I have to be number two, to James Taft, I'm okay with that, but I will issue him another challenge. You tell me the time to meet at Angelina's, we'll have an eat-off of who can eat more pizzas. I'm ready to go, Jimmer. Let me know when, baby.
My money's on you, JT, on the pizza off.
JT, we appreciate the insight and the time, man. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me, and always and forever, fellas, go Cougs.
Great Cougs. Jonathan Tavernari on BYU Sports Nation.
When he was in the zone, and then when Jimmer was in the zone, and now we've seen Trevor Nell get in the zone.
Shooting?
Shooting.
Yeah.
There are two zones.
Gotcha.
That would be the O zone. This is but those three shooters are phenomenal. We're just starting to see Nell start to gun it more frequently.
Yep.
But Tavernari and Jimmer were.
It was a special group, man.
Something to see.
It was fun.